My friend and I killed my cousin's dad and she still doesn't know. This is a long story. Throw away because we all have read it. Last year, in August, me and my best friend went to a party for my cousin who beat cancer. She had been battling it for 4 years and beat it a month prior before telling the family. I'd what type of cancer she had, but it messed up her mouth, deformed her teeth, and caused a lot of growth in her gums. We arrived at the party at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon after we got out of wrestling practice. We decided since we didn't bring anything, one of us could make a small trip to the store to get some alcohol for the adults at the party. He said he'd go, so I went to say hi to the family and some new faces. He was gone for an hour, and I really forgot he left until he came back with 4 bags each with alk. We drank till the sun went down, and I started chatting with this girl who I had seen and wasn't family. I'll call her Summer. Summer was a friend of one of my cousins who begged her to come meet her family. She told me she was a nurse, and this was one of her only off days, and said she wanted to mingle for a bit before going home. She was cool, really cool. She never rambled too much, was kind and polite. My friend occupied on the other side of the function talking to, as luck would have it, my cousin, her mom, was also the one who beat cancer. They were laughing and looked like they liked each other. Fast forward, it's about 11 o'clock, and most of the people who came are still there, and most of the adults are drunk except for Summer, my cousin who beat cancer, her daughter, and my friend. Summer looked bored, so I said, how about we go somewhere else with my friend and my cousin? She said sure, but she was driving. I stumbled around the people to look for my friend and my cousin to ask if they wanted to dip. I couldn't find them, so I called my friend, I'll just call him Chase, and my cousin Taylor. He picked up asking what I wanted, so I asked if he wanted to go somewhere else with the girls. He said sure, and he was in the parking lot already. I told Summer which car was mine as she practically dragged me to my car. We drove to Chase's place cause it was closer, and we ordered pizza. Chase asked if the girls smoked. Summer said no because of her job. Taylor said she's quitting, so he handed me a pro roll and asked if I wanted. I said we shouldn't because the girls were here. The whole night Taylor kept getting texts from someone and she looked angry, sad, tired, all at the same time. I didn't ask about it and we all fell asleep around 2 o'clock. I woke up around 1 o'clock that afternoon. Summer was already awake and she asked if I was okay to drive her home so she could get ready for work. I asked her if Chase and Taylor were still here. She said, no, they left a little bit ago. I drove Summer home, asked for her number, we said goodbye. I drove home and crashed and slept through most of the day. I woke up to many missed calls from Chase and Taylor. I called Chase back first and heard him screaming and Taylor in the back. I asked him what was going on and he yelled, the fucker has orc. He's gonna kill us. I asked him who and he said, I don't fucking know. He's asking for Taylor, he has a gun. I told him to tell me where he was over and over again, and he said he was at an abandoned property we had visited before with other friends. I told him don't let him in, he'll be there soon. I sped to the woods where the Holmes trail led. It was one of those dirt paths that lead into the woods from the highway. I parked a bit away from the house and ran to the house with no weapons, not even a knife. I ran up to the house and heard yelling. A lanky white dude with one of those skull pull-ups, brown boots and red hat and Letterman jacket. He was screaming, I'm gonna kill you. I assumed to Taylor a truck was parked outside of the house I assumed was his. The door to the house was already fucked, but he kept kicking it in. Something must have been behind that door because it was holding. One didn't have a weapon to fight a guy twice my height with orc. I snuck around to his truck looking for a weapon. He had soap buckets, a toolbox, and rope in the back, not helpful. But there was a shovel. So much screaming. Taylor screaming for him to leave them alone and Chase trying to plead with him to stop. I basically tiptoes past his truck in thick grass. Bang bang. 2 shots the door and whatever was behind it was down. He barged into the home and started hitting someone because the screams got louder. I ran from the grass with shovel behind him and swung the shovel. I missed his head and hit his shoulder. I picked up the shovel to swing again and was met with the back of the gun to my face. We wrestled to the ground, gun in his hand, and ended up in the kitchen area of the house. Chase came in to help me get the gun from him. Chase midway through gets bit in the leg through the guy's mask and stamps on his head to get him to let go. The gun came loose and I got back on my feet in case he got up. He didn't. Emmy and Chase looked at each other for a solid minute before the oh shit kicked in. The guy didn't get up, didn't move, just groaned. That fucking groan was haunting. He spit up some greenish foamy fluid for a few seconds, then started asking us to help him, but it sounded more like gurgling. I left the room to see if Taylor was okay. She was shaking in the same spot as when he broke in. Chase came out after and said, "We gotta go, man." He kept looking at the guy, still asking over and over for us to help him. Chase took off his mask and I knew who it was. I went back into the kitchen and knew who he was. Taylor's dad. Her actual father. He was at the function where Chase and Taylor met. From where Taylor was, she couldn't see his face. I told her let's go and made sure she did not see his face. He was still asking us to help him, but it sounded more like a zombie. He was choking on that stuff he coughed up before. The only people who know what happened today are me, Chase, Taylor, and now Summer, whom we've been with for 4 months. Taylor still has no idea it was her father who attacked us that day. Since then I've gotten an understanding of why we were attacked. I think it was her dad who was texting her all night, probably about her being with Chase. Chase is black. Taylor is white. Her dad had always been open about his views on race and always made it clear what he thought of black folks. I guess he didn't like the thought of his daughter tangling with a black man. Taylor thinks her dad left because of her involvement with Chase and still doesn't know he was the one who attacked us.